In the hushed halls of New York's most elite galleries where champagne flows and the scent of old money kind of lingers in the air, million-dollar paintings hang like silent witnesses to a much darker truth. These masterpieces, portraits, abstract swirls, landscapes soaked in oil and myth, aren't just art. For the ultra-wealthy and, honestly, the deeply corrupt, they're weapons, shields, laundering devices in plain sight. And in a world where financial crimes are committed behind velvet ropes and auction gavels, the canvas has become the cleanest way to wash the dirtiest money imaginable. It sounds like a movie, doesn't it? A billionaire in a suit with ties to a shell company buys a painting by a mid-century expressionist for $45 million. No questions asked, no receipts that trace back to his name, and before the ink on the auction paddle is even dry, the painting disappears, shipped to a secret freeport in Geneva, Singapore, or Delaware. There, in a tax-free, lawless limbo of climate-controlled storage, it will sit, hidden, untaxed, untouched, and now, clean. This is not a conspiracy, this is the art world. To understand this scam, you have to first understand what makes art the perfect vehicle for laundering money. For starters, its value is subjective. Unlike gold or real estate, there's no universally agreed market price for a piece of art. A canvas splashed with paint can be worth $100 or $100 million, if a rich enough person is willing to say so. That alone creates a fertile playground for inflating prices, moving cash, and, burying trails. Second, the art market is, largely unregulated. In the United States, believe it or not, you actually need more identification to buy a phone than to spend millions on a painting. Unlike banks, auction houses and galleries just aren't required to perform anti-money laundering checks. So that means criminals, oligarchs, and kleptocrats can just walk in, or send a proxy, flash a wire transfer and walk out with art that, well, becomes a global passport for wealth. No background checks, no red flags, just nods and handshakes. And third, there's anonymity. Most art transactions honestly happen through intermediaries. Offshore companies, private dealers, anonymous trusts. The true buyer? Yeah, they remain in the shadows. And the painting? It often never even hangs on a wall. It's flown straight into the belly of a freeport, a kind of no-man's land warehouse where customs and tax laws just don't apply. These places are like Fort Knox for art. Billions in masterpieces line the walls unseen for years, belonging to people whose names you'll probably never know. Let's get real for a second. When a painting by Basquiat or Warhol or Rothko sells for $80 million, does anyone truly believe it's all about, the love of art? Or is it about moving money across borders without scrutiny? About parking assets and objects that aren't tracked, taxed, or even noticed? Drug lords, arms dealers, rogue governments, they've all used this loophole. And honestly, why wouldn't they? The art market is a dream for criminals. High dollar, low paper trail, emotionally untouchable. So, take the infamous case of Brazilian billionaire Edmar Cid Ferreira. He bought a Jean-Michel Basquiat painting for millions using embezzled funds. To smuggle it out of the country, he claimed it was worth just $100. The painting was eventually seized in a criminal investigation, but, honestly, the message was clear. Art can be moved, disguised, and manipulated without raising alarms. And, what about Russian oligarchs sanctioned by the West? Many of them turned to art. Through shell companies, they bought works at prestigious auctions like Christie's and Sotheby's, bypassing banking restrictions and asset freezes. With one strategic purchase, they could move millions into a portable, discrete asset that no government would ever suspect, until it was too late. Then there's the twisted irony. The same art that's lauded for beauty and culture is, in some cases, painted over with blood money. Think about it. When a dictator's nephew buys a Picasso, is he really admiring the brushwork? Or is he hiding the proceeds of war crimes and stolen oil beneath a veneer of class? This entire ecosystem thrives on secrecy. A handful of elite auction houses dominate the game. They operate in an opaque world where bidders remain anonymous, final buyers are shielded, and honestly, no one asks too many questions. When prices are inflated artificially, sometimes with a prearranged buyer, It's not just about art, it's a mechanism to legitimize illicit cash. You buy the painting for $5 million. Next year, it's worth $8 million. Sell it. The money's clean, just like that. And it's not just criminals, even corporations and the ultra-rich exploit art as a tax haven. By donating art to museums at inflated values, they claim massive deductions. Others buy art through offshore firms, storing it out of reach of tax authorities. In some cases, entire art collections are traded without any physical movement, just papers exchanged in Swiss boardrooms, millions shifted through cyberspace, and regulators left in the dust. But here's the kicker, this isn't just a loophole, it's a design. The art world's elite, gallerists, brokers, lawyers, politicians, they all benefit from keeping it this way. Calls to regulate the market have been met with fierce resistance. It'll destroy the industry, they argue. Art is personal, not financial. But make no mistake, behind the canvas is a system crafted for discretion, manipulation, and control. And while the rest of us pay taxes, swipe cards, and justify every transaction, the wealthy float above it all, moving fortunes through brushstrokes and pigment. An art heist in broad daylight. Not stealing paintings, but using them to steal the system. Governments are catching on, slowly. The European Union recently introduced rules requiring due diligence in high-value art sales. The United States has started to investigate the role of art in sanctions evasion. But enforcement is weak, loopholes remain, and freeports, those vaults of invisible wealth, are spreading faster than ever. The rich have found their sanctuary, and they're not giving it up without a fight. Meanwhile, the rest of the world stares in awe at glittering auctions, not realizing what's really being sold. Not just art, but power, legitimacy, clean slates, the ability to turn illegal millions into unquestioned assets. A painting to most of us is beauty on a wall, but in the hands of the right person it's a vault, a weapon, a passport, and a confession, all rolled into one. And the next time you read about a $100 million painting, don't just ask, is it worth it? Ask, what are they hiding? The truth about the art world is darker than you think. If this shocked you, hit that like button. Tell us in the comments, should art be more regulated or is privacy a right in collecting? Share this video if you believe the canvas shouldn't cover up corruption. Subscribe now for more stories that pull back the velvet curtain on the world's dirtiest secrets. Because in this gallery, the real masterpiece is the scam.